I'm Tracy Archibald. I'm the Inclusion and Diversity Council member. It is the start of a great week here where some of our UK champions will be joining us each day, and they'll be sharing some different themes throughout National Inclusion Week, and this will be aligning with other Leviat businesses globally. So our champions have worked very hard on top of their day job to put together a number of creative lunch and learns. And then those are others who have worked behind the scenes. They've been working on creating posters, advertising these on notice boards, communicating via emails to ensure that there is value to what you'll be hearing this week. So on behalf of the I&D Council, I want to thank each and every one of you for your full support and in attending this week. So you may have seen that we'll be recording each session to ensure that we share these topics with our non-connected operations teams, as we're committed to telling our unexpected stories that matter through our cultural consciousness. So again, if you have a question and you don't want to share it with everyone on the chat, then please feel free to contact any one of our UK champions or myself privately, and we'll try and help you as much as possible. Once again, enjoy your lunch if you're having lunch or tea or milky tea whilst listening to this particular Lunch and Learn. I now pass you over to Ashley Madden.
Everyone, just bear with me while I set up my presentation. Let's see, let me know when everyone can see that.
Yep, I can see it.
Yeah. Good to go. Now, I wanted to start this off with a little bit of music, but I was having some trouble. So let me, if you can't hear this, I apologize, but I really wanted to kick this off right today about respect.
Can you sing?
Man, I'm sad that didn't work, y'all. I was trying to get Respect by Aretha Franklin to play for just a minute.
Would you like me to get Kerry to do it?
No.
Yeah, Kerry, could you please do a musical number really quick before we start this?
No, we did hear bits actually. We did
Yeah,
bits, but yeah.
All right. Perfect. Well, today's Lunch and Learn is actually going to be about respect, which is the theme this year for National Inclusion Week. It will be a fairly brief presentation, but there's time for a little bit of discussion or questions at the end of it that we can partake in. So this presentation is really going to cover what type of respect that we're discussing, what's present in the workplace when there is respect, how people experience respect, and how we can create a respectful environment at work. So we need to get into what is respect. Well, since it has so many different meanings, the focus is about personal respect for this matter. And personal respect is actually a baseline at CRH and Leviat as a must-have. So to define this, personal respect is what every individual deserves as a human being. And this is not to be confused with professional respect, which is prompted by abilities, achievements, experience, or expertise, because professional respect is something that actually could be gained or lost. And personal respect is just a baseline for everyone as human beings. So in the workplace, when we have respect, the presence of fairness, openness, and courtesy are there that allows everyone to be treated every day with dignity. When we don't have respect, we're really open to leave room for discrimination, prejudice, and harassment. And so continuing on, what does respect mean at work? Well, respect is ultimately about feeling safe, and that comes along with physical safety and psychological safety. We know that Leviat has done a lot of work for physical safety across all Leviat sites, and that it takes work from everyone to achieve this. Well, respect is actually the same way. It takes work from all of us to build this environment so that everyone can come to work and experience the fairness, openness, and courtesy that's present when we respect each other. Let's see. And while we're discussing this, you are able. Oh yeah, Tracy already did it. You can put any questions in the chat along the way on this. Let's see. So when we're talking about respect, one thing that we need to talk about the experience is really how do people experience disrespect. So I'm going to provide some examples of disrespect so we can have a discussion later over that. An example could be making a comment such as, "You foreign people coming here and stealing our jobs," even if it was meant as a joke. It could be the type of language that we use, especially against certain groups where hate speech could be present regarding someone's sexual orientation, their race or age, anything that could be deemed disrespectful and hateful. Another example could be displaying a sexualized poster in the break room that could embarrass somebody or really make people uncomfortable. And then another example is speaking to a female colleague saying, "Looking good in her PPE today." While it may just seem like a harmless joke, it could actually make this person feel really objectified. So again, these are just examples of things that we discuss with each other every day, but could really come across out of context with others because we don't really know everyone's backgrounds or experiences. So these comments could really be actually a barrier and be disrespectful to some. But it's also not just our language that we use with each other that could be disrespectful. There's other ways as well, such as our gestures and body language with each other, whether it's just a conversation with a colleague or in a meeting. The way that we present ourselves, like if you're slouching in a meeting, it could mean you're not really present or being attentive. I think we can assume what gestures could be considered not good at the workplace. It also goes further into the way we communicate via email, because many things can be lost in context in an email since we're not having a face-to-face discussion. So this could range actually from just the punctuation that we use, whether you're putting a lot of exclamation marks in an email that could become across as shouting when you don't really mean it to be, or to be honest, a lot of language can just be lost in the context in emails. I've been a part of some email chains that have really gotten out of hand in the past. And so it's just kind of being aware before we send an email off to someone. Attention in meetings that are either in person or via Teams kind of goes back to gestures and body language. When you're sitting in a boardroom with somebody for a presentation, you're probably sitting there with your pen and your pad. You're really present, giving your undivided attention. Well, you should really be doing that, the same thing, even on a Teams meeting, by having your camera on, showing that you're attentive, that you're listening and participating, not answering emails while you're on a Teams presentation. And I'm going to be honest, I've been guilty of that. I have absolutely checked emails because I thought something was urgent and couldn't wait while I'm actually already in another meeting. Sorry, I hear some background noise on someone. Thank you. But like I was saying, I've been guilty of sending emails while I'm on a Teams meeting, and that's really disrespectful. Honestly, things can wait to be taken care of until we've already finished a presentation so that we provided that respect to the speaker. And then another thing is, again, just being aware of the way that we communicate with each other in the office, down in operations, and also when we're cross-communicating across the different teams and departments that we have. And honestly, in most of these situations, someone may not mean to be disrespectful, because I don't think anyone is really coming to work every day to be like, "Oh, how could I really upset somebody? How could I really hurt their feelings today?" I don't think most people have the intention to do that. But if someone feels disrespected, it can impact them. And so it really, at that point, is less about what is meant by a comment that may have offended somebody and really about how it affects the other person, and us challenging ourselves to understand it from these other perspectives. So now that we've covered kind of the respect that we're talking about in the workplace, how people can experience that, it's what can we do to create a respectful environment? Well, Leviat believes that everyone deserves to be treated with respect. They believe respect does not have to be earned and isn't based on title or position. Respect is mutual. We treat people with respect, and we in turn expect to be shown respect. So it really is simple, but it encompasses us kind of challenging ourselves, because it doesn't just come easy. Like with the physical safety in our workplaces, we have to challenge ourselves to continue to build this inclusive culture. To achieve this, we want to ensure respect is a priority and demonstrated in our mindsets, behaviors, and day-to-day experiences across Leviat. This really means listening to each other when we speak. Listen and hear somebody. Don't try to speak over them. Listen, whether it's in a meeting or in a conversation, listen so that you're really hearing what this person is saying to you. Don't make assumptions or judgments based on how somebody may look or their age. Maybe think really quick and reread an email before you send it and think of maybe how that could be perceived, or if maybe it's a conversation that would be better had in person and not an email. So really, it's just these things that we have to challenge each other on daily. I have to do it myself. And so basically that's the presentation. Like I said, it's a little short and sweet, but wanted to see if we could really have a discussion, if anybody wants to, about what does respect mean to you? How have you handled situations of disrespect in the past? And what are actions that we can take or you could take that help create this environment of personal respect in all of our workspaces that contains the fairness, openness, and courtesy that comes with this? So thank you for your time listening to the presentation, but I'll open it up if anybody wants to speak or put anything in the chat.
We've got quite a lot of people on the call today. We've got about 40 people on the call, Ashley, and that was a really good opening point on respect to align with CRH National Inclusion Week. So thank you for that. Again,
yeah, sorry, I just wanted to say I think it was a good thing to point out the difference between personal and professional respect, because obviously, like you say, personal respect is something that we should give everybody, and it doesn't have to be earned. And I think that's a really important fact. And I think it was really good that that kind of was stressed. I think it's definitely, definitely a really good point for everybody to take away and to think about. So thank you for that one. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
I think, Ash, we've been in meetings together before when when people have taken they've overstepped the line in terms of the line between professional and personal respect, and have taken have been personally disrespectful when they feel that they have been professionally disrespected, whether they have or not. I'm pleased to say that I think, especially in the last couple of years, it's called out a little bit more rather than accepted. And I'd encourage people to call out any personal disrespect that they witness, even if it's by a superior, because whilst ever it's allowed to continue, then it'll infiltrate culture. So I'm more than happy to call out somebody who I think is behaving badly, and I think we should all do it a little bit more.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Alexia. I feel the same way. I think I've been trying to get better about calling it out when I see it and being comfortable to do that. I think knowing that this is a base that everyone is treated with this type of respect. It's not based on merit and the professional aspect, that anybody should be able to call it out and be comfortable doing that. So the more that we can keep doing things like that, the better. Oh, thanks, Catherine, for your comment. I like to think about that too. Catherine said, I always feel it's nice to think about how I would like to be treated before making comments than making the comments after that consideration. So absolutely.
And I think that applies to email too. I mean, it's sometimes you don't know. And I think you made that point as well about how emails can be read, because, I don't know, if you look at kind of sentences. So if you take some sentence like, I didn't say he stole the money, and you put the emphasis on a different part of that word, depending on where somebody reads that, it can have a completely different meaning to I didn't say he stole the money to I didn't say he stole the money, and I didn't say he stole the money in just one sentence, and somebody puts the emphasis on a different place and it means a completely different thing. So when, as I say, when you write an email, and I think as Ash said, is email the best way to have this conversation? If somebody having a bad day reads your email and you meant it in a good stead and they've completely taken it the wrong way, And that's the problem with email. You can't get tone. So, you know, it's to be respectful. Is that the best format for me to communicate with somebody, or should I actually pick up the phone and have a conversation? And I think sometimes we're all a bit guilty of emails the easy way, and sometimes it actually causes us more stress than if we'd actually picked up the phone and had a conversation.
Yeah, no,
no,
absolutely.
I agree with that, Kerry. I mean, there are times that I've received emails with exclamation marks. You know, the sentences are in bold or in red, and you think, oh my gosh, I know they're trying to get the message across, and they probably didn't mean to come across as rude, but it makes me feel really bad, and it upsets my day when I receive that, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm plodding on doing really well, and then I receive this, and I'm thinking, did they really mean to send it like that? And I'm sure they didn't. But those exclamation marks, those bold, you know, emails or private messages we get in work, you just think, well, you know, I don't think Mehmet would ever send an email or a message like that to me or to any of his employees. And I don't think anybody else should. We should all be that humble to respect each other, as you say, professionally and personally. And I think that's what today and this week is about, is that respect, that CRH wants to ensure that we all respect each other, no matter of title, no matter of who you are in the business, is that personal and professional respect. So I agree totally there, Kerry.
And I think it's hard because all of this is challenging our behavior. It's kind of having to police yourself in a weird way until some of this becomes more natural. So it does take a lot of work, and it's something I discuss this a lot with my team members personally. So I guess it's just, you know, being a part of conversation in our workplace when we're having meetings with our teams as well would be good to have chats about this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how I've handled that situation of disrespect, I don't respond to it. I either call it out. It wouldn't be called out in another email. It'd be called out on a one-to-one. But it needs calling out because, as you say, we have to challenge our behaviors and our colleagues' behaviors in this. And if we, as I&D champions and employees within Leviat, don't call it out, it'll continue to happen. You know, so I treat everyone, I'd like to think I treat everyone with respect, you know, who I've ever met in a meeting face to face. I'm always smiling. I, you know, try and have time with people. And I know people are busy. So if you say, well, I'm busy, that's fine. I respect that space. I respect your time as well. So, you know, there's different ways of handling disrespect if you feel disrespected. So I call that out, but I call that out on a one-on-one. I wouldn't send an email. I don't know how other people will send it or deal with it. Any other thoughts on that?
I think it's difficult, Tracy. I think sometimes if there's a hierarchical issue, I think sometimes people feel more more conflicted when it comes to calling out a superior. I would like to think that we're moving towards having the same sort of respect culture as we've got a health and safety culture, in that if Runa did something unsafe, I'd like to think that anyone in the business would feel that they could challenge him on it. And I'd like to think that we're moving in the same direction for respect. But I don't think we're quite there yet, in all honesty. I think we've still got some way to go.
Yeah, no, I agree, because we still have a lot of new people coming into the business who don't understand our culture as well and bring in a different culture, and they have to learn that we have our values here within Leviat and CRH, and they have to try their utmost best to adopt that, our behaviors and our culture and our values, and respect that. So there will always be that journey for new people to perhaps try and, you know, use our values and our inclusion as well to grow within the business. So we got to be mindful of that. So I do agree. And again, if anybody, depending on who you are in the business, it needs to be called out. And if you're feeling that someone more superior is, and I should say superior, it's only a title, is you cannot challenge them, take it to HR or your line manager, or send them a private email, let them know how you felt, because I'm sure they didn't mean for you to feel so badly and feel horrible, because that's how I feel. And I will call that out. But again, people need to feel comfortable to call these things out.
Well, and I think you raise a point. If you're not comfortable calling that person out, you should be able to feel comfortable to go speak to HR and seek advice.
Exactly.
So,
And there's different ways of communicating with HR. In the UK, I think you've got a big team now in the HR. I know we've got people here from Deeside and in London and in the Sheffield area. So please use your HR contacts. You can do it anonymously if you want to, but it's always good to put a face to a name and say how you felt. Sam, I understand that you put your hand up while we were doing the presentation. Sam Hine, did you have a question? I'm sorry for calling you out on this, but I saw
No,
your
it's
hand.
fine. Sorry, no, it's just a mistake. It's misclicked. Apologies.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But all I just wanted to say, if no one else has any other contributions, we want to say thank you very much. And it's all about respect. So we do respect your time as well. We have spent about 22 minutes on this today, so we can give you your time back. But we would like to invite you to attend the other Lunch and Learns. We've got some fantastic topics, all different creative ways that you're going to learn and understand other things that's happening to different people in the businesses. So please take the time out to enjoy the other Lunch and Learns we have coming up in the rest of the week. If that's okay with everyone and there's no more questions, I'd like to perhaps close the call if that's okay. And thank you very much for the first session. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ashley. It's been a brilliant presentation. Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Ashley.
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Ash.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.